Cancer. It's a word that strikes fear into the hearts of millions. We know it as a disease of uncontrolled cell growth. But what if we've been looking at cancer all wrong? What if instead of a purely genetic disease, cancer is actually a parasitic infection? This might sound radical, even crazy. But there's a growing body of evidence suggesting that cancer might behave like a parasite. This theory isn't new. In fact, it dates back to the earliest days of microbiology. Today, researchers are taking a fresh look at this old idea. They're uncovering startling similarities between cancer cells and parasites. This isn't just an academic exercise. If we can understand the parasitic nature of cancer, we may be able to develop entirely new treatments. Treatments that target the parasite, not just the tumor. This could revolutionize cancer care. Join me as we delve into this shocking new view of cancer. We'll explore the history of the parasitic hypothesis. We'll meet the scientists who are leading the charge, and we'll uncover the groundbreaking research that's changing the way we think about this deadly disease. The idea that cancer could be caused by a parasite isn't new. In the late 19th century, scientists were just beginning to understand the role of microorganisms in disease. Many researchers believed that infectious agents like bacteria and parasites could be responsible for a wide range of illnesses. This included cancer. Some early microbiologists observed strange microscopic structures within tumor cells. They theorized that these structures might be parasitic invaders. They believed that these parasites were driving the uncontrolled growth and spread of cancer. However, this line of thinking eventually fell out of favor. With the advent of genetics, the focus shifted to mutations within our own cells as the primary cause of cancer. The parasitic hypothesis was largely dismissed and forgotten. But now, over a century later, the idea of cancer as a parasitic disease is experiencing a resurgence. Why? Because new evidence has emerged, challenging our conventional understanding of cancer. This evidence comes from diverse fields of study, from clinical observations to molecular biology. One of the most compelling pieces of evidence comes from the work of Dr. Nushin Darvish. Dr. Darvish is a neurosurgeon who has dedicated her career to treating glioblastoma multiforme. This is one of the most aggressive and deadly forms of brain cancer. Dr. Darvish observed something remarkable in some of her patients. These patients were not responding to conventional cancer treatments. Yet, when they were treated with anti-parasitic medications, their tumors shrank. Some patients even experienced long-term remission. These cases were anecdotal, but they were too striking to ignore. Dr. Darvish's observations suggested that in at least some cases, cancer might be vulnerable to treatments designed for parasitic infections. This was a radical idea. It challenged the prevailing dogma in oncology. Dr. Darvish's work has sparked a renewed interest in the parasitic hypothesis. Scientists are now taking a closer look at the possible role of parasites in cancer development. They're using advanced techniques to search for evidence of parasitic infection within tumor cells. Section 4. Borrelia and cancer. Unraveling the connection. Another intriguing piece of the puzzle comes from Germany. Dr. Claudia Scholkopf, a researcher at the University of Würzburg, has been studying the link between Lyme disease and cancer. Lyme disease is caused by a bacterium called. It's transmitted through tick bites. Dr. Scholkopf's research has shown that people with a history of Lyme disease have a significantly higher risk of developing certain types of cancer. This is especially true for lymphoma, a cancer of the lymphatic system. But her findings go even deeper. Dr. Scholkopf has discovered that antibodies against bacteria are often present in the blood of cancer patients. This is even true for patients who have no history of Lyme disease. These findings suggest a possible connection between infection and cancer. It's possible that the bacteria, or the body's immune response to it, could be creating an environment that promotes cancer development. Dr. Scholkopf's work is ongoing, but her initial findings have opened up a whole new avenue of investigation. They highlight the importance of exploring the complex interplay between infection, immunity, and cancer. And Section 5. William Russell, a pioneer in cancer microbe research. The idea of a cancer microbe has deep roots. Let's travel back to the early 20th century. Scottish pathologist William Russell dedicated his life to studying cancer. Using a powerful microscope, he made a startling observation. Inside cancer cells, Russell found tiny round structures. He called them fuchsine bodies because they absorbed a red dye called fuchsine. These bodies were always present in cancerous tissue but absent in healthy cells. Russell believed he had found the elusive cancer microbe. He theorized that these microbes invaded normal cells, transforming them into cancerous ones. Russell's work was met with both excitement and skepticism. Some scientists dismissed his findings as artifacts, meaningless byproducts of the staining process. But Russell remained convinced of his discovery. He even developed a vaccine based on his findings. While his vaccine ultimately proved ineffective, Russell's work laid the groundwork for future generations of scientists. Section 6. John Beard's breakthrough: cancer cells as trophoblasts. John Beard was a Scottish embryologist. In the early 1900s, he made a groundbreaking discovery. He found that cancer cells share striking similarities with trophoblast cells. Trophoblasts are cells found in the placenta. They're responsible for the growth and invasion of the uterine wall during pregnancy. Beard was astounded by the resemblance between these two cell types. Both cancer cells and trophoblasts grow rapidly and aggressively. They both invade surrounding tissues, and they both produce enzymes that break down barriers, allowing them to spread. Based on these similarities, Beard proposed a bold hypothesis. He suggested that cancer cells were essentially rogue trophoblasts. He believed that these cells originated from dormant embryonic cells that escaped the body's normal developmental controls. Beard's theory, though controversial, provided a new framework for understanding cancer. He was among the first to recognize the importance of developmental biology in cancer research. His work paved the way for future studies exploring the embryonic origins of cancer.